SABC's acting political editor, Sophie Mokoena. Good morning to you, Sophie. Yet another round of talks around the president, the country president, Jacob Zuma. Negotiations. Do we know anything in terms of whether the talks will indeed be going ahead today?
Well, indeed, I did confirm yesterday that, and I got a confirmation that today the ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa and President Jacob Zuma will hold talks today where they will be discussing the final details in terms of what needs to happen. We know that the sticking points are around the perhaps request made by President Jacob Zuma before this matter is concluded.
Now, there's been a lot of speculation about what has been hampering or delaying the process as it's been ongoing. The SONA was postponed. A lot has been happening just around this issue. Do we know anything about what the demands of President Jacob Zuma are?
The information we have is that President Jacob Zuma has made certain demands. Among those demands that are still have to be verified, because the problem here, nobody wants to divulge the details of the discussions, is that the issue around security, the issues around court cases. You know that he's facing many court cases. Who is going to pay? And but the sticking point is, should the court rule that he must pay, what's going to happen? We know that the issue of immunity is off the table, because there's no way the incoming president can break the law. And then the issue of what to do in terms of the family, and you know that he has a huge family. The issues around the security of the family and himself, those are the issues. And the other issue is what happens to some of the ministers. And the other important issue is around whether this should be done this week or when.
Sophie, you speak about the family. Of course, we know that the president does have a huge family indeed, but it's been a sore point, it seems, for some members of his family. There was a tweet that was sent out by the First Lady. For those of our viewers who may not be on Twitter or who did not catch that story, won't you take us through the details of what her tweet entailed?
It's an Instagram where she posted a picture of it's Thobeka herself, the First Lady, and President Zuma in the Air Force plane flying back from Cape Town to Johannesburg yesterday. And she wrote words that indicated that it's going to be a tough fight. And then the Twitter went further to say, talking about President Zuma not joining the struggle after 1991, and we know that after 1991, Ramaphosa became the Secretary General. And ironically, I don't know whether the First Lady's memory or she's got selective amnesia. In 1991, when Ramaphosa became the Secretary General, President Jacob Zuma was the Deputy Secretary General of the ANC. They've worked together. And when President Jacob Zuma became the Deputy President of the ANC, Ramaphosa was still part of that NEC. When President Jacob Zuma became his first term as ANC President, Ramaphosa was part of that NEC. It is the very same Ramaphosa, President Jacob Zuma's faction towards Bloemfontein that pleaded with Ramaphosa to agree to be on their slate because they lacked credibility. They wanted someone who had credibility. All of a sudden, you make those pronouncements. And I think it was a wise move for the family to quickly distance itself from the Twitter, because it was really damaging. And I think it undermined the wisdom of the ANC members who went to the conference and elected the leadership. I think she really erred. And which brings me to a memory, you know, what happened in Zimbabwe. That's exactly what Grace Mugabe did, and that was the downfall of President Mugabe, if these are true.
Sophie, before I let you go in very quickly, with all the delays that we've been seeing, do you think that the ANC is losing some sort of credibility? And what about the incoming president? Do you think that people are starting to doubt whether he can actually take a stand, or do you think the public is just hasty in wanting to see a result?
There's anxiety, and people have different views, and there are those who feel that it looks like Ramaphosa is taking too long, but it's not an easy matter. This is a sitting head of state, and you know very well what the Constitution says. And therefore, if this has to be done by the party, they really have to work with him, persuade him, and he must agree. You know, Mbeki, it was quick because he didn't want to embarrass the leadership. But this time around, it looks like it's very difficult and somebody will be embarrassed.
Sophie Mokoena, that is our SABC acting political editor, talking to us about the developments just around the transition that we've been seeing unfolding throughout the week. It's time for us to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Azwi.
Thanks very much, Pell, and warm welcome. Well, let's take a look at your weather details. On our satellite image, we're still seeing some moisture over the interior of South Africa and over Western Cape. It is currently partly cloudy. You can see with this picture from 5 a.m. this morning, you can see as it gets clear, we start to see a whole lot of cloud over the city of Cape Town. And again, it does look like it has developed some few more clouds over those regions. In the afternoon, we're expecting a maximum of 23 drop